Wow. I don't usually say this, but I regret reading this manga, and I don't know how to not make it live rent-free in my head. The manga in question is Kurosaki wants me all to himself, the intense sweetness of first love. And now you're probably asking, why do you regret this? Is it cringe? Is it weird? Is it intense? The answer is yes. All of them. And I'll tell you why. Now, this shoujo very much embraces the yandere element of a main character, of someone that becomes kind of obsessed with someone and wants to, make them their own in pretty much every sense of the word. Let's talk about the characters. So we have Asano, who is our leading lady in this, and she is someone who will make herself smaller at the expense of not bothering other people. So she's not very confident. She doesn't have that big value of self-worth. She only has a couple things she feels like she's good at, and she doesn't really like to brag about herself. And then our MC, our leading man, is Kurosaki. And now Kurosaki's the polar opposite. He is good at everything. He's class captain, leader of a soccer team. Every single girl seems to fangirl over him, around him, and he almost is annoyed by that, but he's got privileged, guy problems. Every single girl wants him. His family is rich, and he always has a house to himself, and he just constantly looks like he's oh, my life is so hard being me and perfect and blah blah blah. And we'll break into Kurosaki in a bit and why I absolutely despise him as a character. So the story starts where typical shoujo, girl doesn't have high self-esteem, guy has maybe too much self-esteem, gets too much attention, and then wants the attention from someone that doesn't give it to him. Almost like in something like a Condition Called Love kind of manga. And then they kind of just hit it off, start doing study sessions together in the library, and don't really initially seem like they have a lot in common. So it's kind of strange how the attraction just starts flaring up. I think it's mostly just physical. And then this is where Kurosaki starts getting a little less redeemable. So he will just blatantly put Asano in positions where it's hey, why don't you cook for me? Because you said you like cooking. And she's oh, sure. And then he's okay, come over to my house tomorrow. And she's oh no, that feels too fast. He's no, be there. And he just kind of will pressure her without a way out. And she literally even calls him the next day and is yeah, this is weird because I met you for 5 minutes. He's no, come anyway, my parents are home, it's fine. He doesn't make you feel comfortable at all. And anytime something doesn't go his way, he literally just puts on one of these phases. And then he just pouts. He just pouts this big not emotionally unavailable baby. And I have yet to find a redeemable quality about Kurosaki. I get that he obviously has some daddy issues and that's painfully apparent, but then he just he makes that a little too intense once he starts needing Asano to be looking at him and pay attention to him at every second. There's one point where she's I really need to study. He's no, you're gonna nap with me. What? And the fact that she just is she doesn't, this is her first relationship. She's never had attention from someone. She doesn't know how to say no. At one point, her brother drops her off. He's who's that? And they're not even dating, by the way. He's who's that guy you're with? You didn't say you had a boyfriend. It's bro, she didn't have to. You don't own her. And I know that this is in a lot of shoujos, they have that toxic yandere character element that I hate personally, but I know these guys do obviously exist, but yeah, it just doesn't make me like it. When this is in shoujos, it just makes me really annoyed. It's why do you suck? And then you'll read the fan comments and people were fangirling over him. I'm am I crazy? Is it just cool to be kind of emotionally abusive now? What is happening? And so anyway, eventually, of course, they start dating, which I don't really even know why. And they suddenly are I love you. And it's bro, you don't even know anything about each other. And I just don't really like when a shoujo just boom, just goes. It's like they're just suddenly dating. Like, I'll say like A Sign of Affection is a great example of like one that did it really well, and there's like a good progressive buildup, and it makes you enjoy the characters more, understand their flaws more. But when you just like jam them together and make them like immediately fall in love, I just kind of like, I don't know, I'm just not that interested in either of it, you know? So yeah, I mean, I guess if you like that, if you want to read it for the cringe value, I think there's a phenomenal cringe value, especially with Kurosaki. Oh boy, I can just go on about this guy forever. But other than that, if you need a shoujo to read that's got some like cringe, like kind of like intense, like emotionally unavailable men in it, then this one might be perfect for you. Check out Kurosaki Wants Me All to Himself, The Intense Sweetness of First Love. And if you don't like emotionally abusive characters, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment a cringe shoujo or anime or manga below. I would love to check it out. And until next time, you little weebs, I will catch you on the flip-flop, all right? Bye now.